Hello, welcome.
Hello there, Benjamin Costa. How are you today?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I am doing
How
great.
are you?
I'm doing great. I had a tamale for breakfast today.
So you're gonna have to leave for a minute.
No,
Is that what you're trying to say?
no, just I haven't had it's like a really spicy tamale that I just I ate it. It was wonderful.
Starting the day off spicy, huh?
I started the day off spicy. 40 cups of coffee, a hot tamale. Life is good. So, what are we doing today, Benjamin? Let's show some stuff off. So thanks for joining us, everybody. We're going to be doing a live stream. We're going to be drawing some creatures and talking about monsters and javelins and ghosts.
Yeah.
Just creating all the creatures that'll be in the Land of Eam Rickety Stitch RPG.
Hey, Georgie. How you doing, buddy?
Georgie. How you doing there, buddy?
Yeah, so we're going to show some things off first. I mean, if you've been following the stream, you've probably seen the map. But
it is near completion. It's beautiful.
Got a few more locations to do, plus adding in some roads, like the middle route run, which begins at Crickstop and runs through the map through Grimley Wood, which is these woods to the left here. And then if you read Rickety Stitch Book 2, the middle route run, it goes north up the west. Hey, Murda, how's it going? Mirta? Yeah, and then I guess we have some new character class art.
Yeah, so for anybody that joined us last weekend, we were chatting about characters and specifically the starter characters that we created for the first adventure. We're releasing the beta of the game, and so there's some starter characters, and you can see them here. This is actually pages from the book. There's the bard there.
Yeah, so last week I was drawing this on stream, and I colored it afterwards. So that's the bard, and all of these characters are going to have their own pre-generated character sheets. So we're going to use the same art for that, and they're their own characters that you can play.
It's ready right out of the box.
And here's the Dungeoneer. This is not gooey. This is a different gelatinous goo.
It's a different gelatinous goo. But he's got all of his gear there, his torch, his little hard hat, backpack. Are those 2 sticks of dynamite?
They are.
That's fantastic.
Ready to blow stuff up.
That's hilarious.
Dungeoneers have an ability at level 4 where they don't even need sticks of dynamite. They can just blow stuff up by making a check. So you don't have to have anything on hand. You can just go around. I'm going to blow that building up. And here's the gnome.
It's a new gnome character.
Right. We're trying to stay away from putting canon characters as the class art, although they are on the cover.
Love the fishing pole and the cape. It's so great.
Yeah, you see he has, a similar type of hat to Nerman. He's in the same ballpark as Nerman.
He's in the same ballpark, and the hat actually has significance because you can choose your hat as a gnome, and it gives you a little perk. So this is the autumn hat. Which does what? I can't remember or see it.
Once per session, change the color of something.
Got it.
Just a little cantrip type thing.
Little fun powers. Land of Eam is Ben and I really like little tiny fun powers that do specific stuff. So the game is rich with that sort of thing.
Although the gnome eventually gets, pretty powerful stuff. They can cast illusions or
tame critters, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, broader cantrips of magic, and then eventually they can cast pretty powerful spells like a wizard, and you can just make up what's happening. And this is the Knight Errant. It's a Bogrel Knight Errant. Same species as the Junkmonger in Rickety Stitch, as well as
if you've read the Rickety Stitch graphic novel series, the Junkmonger is a recurring minor character that Rickety bumps into. He's in both book 1 and book 2. Really fun character. I think there's a picture. If you go to ricketystitch.com/RPG, which is sort of an in-progress staging area for the beta, there's a little link on the left called Magic Item Generator. And that has just a fun little, randomly generates a magic item, no stats or anything, just like ideas. And if you click on that, you can, link it. You can actually see the Bogrel Junkmonger character. Although the generator isn't working right for me right now.
It's working for me.
Huh. Oh, wait, there it goes. Rickety Bow.
Ghoulish statue. Tabard of the Gallant.
Pale symbol of mind melding.
Inky throwing knives of jumping.
I keep getting really good ones. Head spike of regeneration.
Harold's fanny pack of laughter. So that's a type of joy that you can get from clicking on that for hours.
The pestilent powder keg of the Cavalier. Instantaneous horseshoes. Oh, so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah, so that's the Knight Errant art, and then the Loyal Chum. This is the little Shrim Loyal Chum. And the Loyal Chum is, the best friend, the glue of the party. She's got a lantern, she's got a frying pan, and a backpack full of everything you need on a journey.
Yeah, it's like it's loosely based on the gelatinous goo from the Rickety Stitch series, his relationship with Rickety Stitch. But there's also a little bit of Samwise Gamgee in there from the Lord of the Rings, like the stalwart companion with a good heart who can help out and all that. We really like that character archetype and thought it'd be great to thrust them into a character class.
Indeed. And finally, we have the Rascal, which is a thief rogue type character.
Very cool. I love the tattoos.
A little messed up. The formatting, with this is so finicky. I don't know what I'm doing, okay? It's just...
I don't know which way I'm going. That'll do it. It's a finicky program, the InDesign.
Especially when you don't have training in it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Perfection.
So, yeah. Those are all the character classes. The new art. And, that's probably going to be the only full color art in the beta rulebook. But the final book, our intention is to have all full color. And hopefully it won't all be done by me. We're going to try to commission other artists to fill it out and make it awesome.
And give it a lot of variety, a lot of different, styles and stuff. Look really cool. Great collection of artists.
Yeah, we've been scouting artists for a long time, but we haven't actually, asked anybody yet. Because, we're planning to put out the open beta and then
make tweaks and see how it goes.
And getting feedback over a pretty good period of time, months.
George says he'll start drawing right now. love it.
We'll put the fan art on the website, George.
Ben, I just noticed that we're both wearing the same T-shirt. I'm wearing the black one, the Rickety Stitch.
We're pretty lame.
We are lame. We're definitely lame.
All right.
So that's a little update from what happened over the course of the week. Been doing a lot of work on the section of the sandbox that will be released as well. The beta rulebook is also going to come with a 1/6, like one region out of the Mucklin's Realm sandbox. They used to be Forest, where the Rickety Stitch series began. And so Ben and I have been going through and editing quests and characters and locations. And it's pretty close, I'd say. We're real close with that region being complete.
Yeah, and there's going to be at least one dungeon with a map. There might be other dungeons that are just written out.
Mm-hmm. There's the first adventure too.
That's what I meant.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh, and
I thought you meant because there is a second.
So there are 2 dungeons.
Yeah, 2 dungeons, an entire sandbox with, gosh, like a dozen locations and maybe 50 characters.
I think there's more than a dozen.
Yeah, there's more than a dozen locations, dozens of characters, dozens of quests. The beta rulebook actually has over 100 random encounters and a lot. There's a lot in it. 100 traps, puzzles, and riddles. There's just a lot of tools for creating a game or maximizing a game.
It's a list of 200 mundane items. There's.
I shouldn't say there's going to be. I should say there is. They're done. It's ready.
So here are the encounters. There's 50 dangerous encounters, 20 perilous, and 20 discoveries. There's a random magic item table, and this isn't even everything we've done. So it's all including in the beta. There's a random NPC table where you can roll a D100 5 times. So you can get like Augie Primwinkle, the Bogrel Witch Hunter covered in soot.
Yeah, that's super helpful for creating a quest or a game. Like the ability to just roll 5 times and have an NPC that's got like an objective, like some physical attribute that's easy for the players to recognize. That's cool.
And when we've been running the game, I've been using a lot just to like generate names.
Yeah.
For random encounter people that you encounter, and inevitably the PCs will be like, "So what's your name?" And then you got to come up with something. So I just go to this table. This is Humdy Snagtooth. That's what it is.
Love it. George says it's like AM PM. There's too much good stuff. Oh, George.
All right, so here are creatures. We did this last week, but this week going to do a Scumseer and a Troll, and then maybe if I'm done with those, we'll do something else. Know what I mean?
I do.
Know what I mean?
So eagle-eyed fans would note that there is a Scumseer, although I don't think it's named, but there's a Scumseer in the Grimly Wood when Rickety Stitch, Ziggy, and the Goo are first going into Castle Lake. In the lake, it's like emerging out of the water. That's the first time we ever made a Scumseer. And I think there's a cameo for a troll in book 2 as well, crossing the bridge. And there's a troll asleep under it.
Here's the Scumseer from our lore.
There it is. Tentacly, glowing-eyed.
George, you're killing us over there.
Classic.
All right. I think I'm just going to draw this out of, I don't know, should it be in the water?
Probably, or adjacent to. Maybe more of
Maybe
it.
bubbles. Maybe bubbles, or
Yeah.
to suggest water.
To suggest water.
It's like SpongeBob. You know what I mean?
Yeah, actually, that's actually a brilliant way to do that. SpongeBob.
So I'm just going to copy my own art. Because, hey, why not?
It's not plagiarism if you create it. Scumseers have a kind of a Cthulhu-esque vibe with the tentacles and glowing eyes and creepy. Sorry, I got distracted. My cat, my little kitten Noodle, is going 100 miles an hour. Yeah, too noodly. She's too noodly for the Noodle Club. She's going 100 miles an hour over my feet and around my chair and chewing on her tiny little feather mouse. Those hollow, vacant eyes, you know what I mean, of a scum seer.
Like a doll's eyes.
Got my Noodle right here. Say hi, Noodle.
Hi, Mr. Noodle.
She wants to play. Yes, I love you too.
Would you say Elmo wants to play?
No, I wouldn't. I would not. This Scumseer's, coincidentally, the Scumseer's name is Elmo. You can find him in the NPC list. So randomly generated an item that's called a tiny belt, and that's all. It's like a friendship bracelet. It's for fairies.
I love it.
Just a golden apparatus, nothing else. The jealous junk of Zimbo. Zimbo has been made canon. Ashley, hello, welcome. She says,
Hey, Ashley.
Cut out our danger noodle. Yes. For those of you just joining us, we are drawing a Scumseer monster that will appear in the Rickety Stitch beta. The beta game, the Land of Eam RPG, comes with an entire sandbox region, as well as how many monsters is in the beta, Ben?
That's one area that we're still not done with, but currently I think there's like over 20.
Yeah, there's
like
over
finished.
Yeah, over 20 finished monsters, and we were going to tag team probably at some point this week. We'll tag team the monster section. Right now, we've got I don't know how many, dozens and dozens of monster types with their lore and descriptions, as well as like special abilities and parlay options. But we need to go through and create the stats, maybe tweak some of the lore, and plan out which ones will be in the beta.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got at least 20 for sure. Over 100 encounters, a random NPC generator if you want to make your own games, a couple of dungeons, including the first quest chain. A lot of stuff, actually. It's a pretty substantial beta test, I'd say. It's a lot more stuff than I really anticipated. And once we get lots of feedback from you guys, we're going to tweak it and start assembling the final book, as well as getting ready to release the entire Mucklin's Realm sandbox, which has 6 different regions as opposed to the one that comes with the core book. Yeah, the bubbles look great.
Bubbles. Toil and troubles. Okay.
Bubble, bubble, toil, and trouble. What is that from? Is that from Macbeth, or am I crazy?
I think so.
I'm almost proud of myself for like knowing that.
I think I had to read that like 3 times throughout school.
We read it in middle school, and then I had to read it in high school again. Macbeth. Shakespeare. One thing I always think about is, when they like grab the branches at the end of the play to make it look like to like hide their advance on the castle.
The forest.
The forest, yeah. They're hidden in the forest, and then there's that prophecy about the forest will move. I remember reading this one quote from Tolkien where when he read it as a child, he was extremely disappointed that the trees were not alive. Like he thought the forest was going to move like in the prophecy. And that actually was the idea genesis point of creating the Ents like Treebeard in the Lord of the Rings series, believe it or not. Because he wanted trees to be alive. Or like not alive, but he wanted trees to like be able to speak and move and like have attitudes and be characters. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah. Great story, James. I commend you on your
I commend you. I will critique it now that it's been told to me.
I don't know why I said that.
Because you're a genius.
That was just weird.
Yes. I thought it was cool, though. I mean, there's lots of little Tolkien tidbits that are out there that are classic.
Tell us another, James. Did you watch the movie? I didn't. Like, was that anything?
Like the Tolkien biopic? I did not. I did not see that. I wonder if that's streaming somewhere. I would check it out. Little known fact, Tolkien had 3 thumbs.
What?
That's not true.
Little known fact, yeah.
Did we learn anything specifically about Tolkien? Remember when we took that Tolkien class in college, Ben? With the guy,
yeah.
What was his name? Christopher. He looked like a Christopher.
We follow him on Twitter.
That's funny, man. We follow him on Twitter. Don't know his name.
All I know is that
sat in his classroom for 100 hours.
He had a silly accent.
He did. He had a silly accent. He was from Van Nuys or something, or like Venice Beach.
Tarzana.
You can't remember his name, but you remember that he's from Tarzana. He was from Tarzana. He moved to the United Kingdom when he was in his teens, developed an accent while he was there, moved back, and now he has like a quasi-Irishy, Scottishy earlier. It's a very interesting accent. I've never heard it. It's like he's definitely the product of like a mixed culture accent. But what was cool is that did he go to Oxford?
I think so.
He went to Oxford, and his literature teacher was part of Tolkien's literature graduating class, like the actual like J.R.R. Tolkien taught the teacher. And so he had like profound insights into the Lord of the Rings and linguistics, and it was a really cool class. I remember writing a gigantic paper for that class about Shelob and Tom Bombadil. But
I think I wrote a paper about the Silmarillion and like something about like how evil diminishes you.
I did
Isn't that
something.
wrong?
Yeah, I did something similar. I like likened it to like Saint Augustine's like theory of evil being a light gradient, where like if good is light and evil is darkness, then like all the in betweens is where people live, like on the spectrum of up or down, like bright or dark. And how Tom Bombadil, being like oblivious to all things except for nature and whatever, was outside of it, and Shelob was outside of it because Shelob like did nothing but consume, and Tom Bombadil did nothing but like nurture growth. Or it was really complex, but like that class was pretty cool. That was one of my favorite classes I think we took.
I
Besides,
have a hard time remembering the content of all those papers because there were countless. Like,
I know. There's like only a couple that I really remember. Did we write papers for the monster class that we were in, where we studied monsters and stuff? I don't remember anything. Oh no, I think I wrote
I wrote a paper on Hellboy.
I think I wrote a paper on Vladimir Dracula, like the guy, like Vlad Tepes. Anyway, in this in this live stream, we will recount the papers we wrote for school.
The other paper of note that I wrote was like a 30-page paper on Usagi Yojimbo.
Oh yeah, that was the greatest investment that you ever made. Is that 30-page? That's how you met Stan Sakai, right?
Part of it because my professor like showed him in that because he was into comics, but I had also brought a Pong comic to Stan Sakai, so I mean it was like a double.
Yeah.
Why he remembered me.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, Stan Sakai is the creator of Usagi Yojimbo, a sweeping adventure comic that takes place in feudal Japan with a rabbit samurai who's a Ronin. Essentially, he's loosely based on Miyamoto Musashi, the famous samurai. Amazing work. I recommend you read it if you haven't. It's just super great. A rabbit samurai wandering around Japan, going on adventures and getting into trouble, and it's awesome.
It's wholesome.
It's wholesome. Yeah, it's awesome and it's wholesome, and it's in my top 5 favorite comics ever created. And
it's my number one. It's my number one, baby.
Yeah, and when Stan Sakai wrote us a quote for Rickety Stitch, it was like it was incredible. Look at that. Now that's a danger noodle if I ever saw one. You know what I mean? It's a whole bowl of paschetti.
Give these nice suctions over here.
Mm-hmm. Horrifying.
The horror.
The horror.
You know, I'm not 100% in love with this over here. But what are you going to do?
This is phase 1. This is sketching phase.
Well,
You refuse to have a stage 1. You want it perfect. Gotta be perfect.
Well, my goal with these, so it's like super, not like super intensive to do all this stuff, is just to have this be the final form.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
The final form for now, and like it'll be the
Ashley
first
says-
form for later.
Ashley says, imagine getting a wet willy with one of those things. Oh, wet willies.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. I haven't had a wet willy in a long time. Probably only ever had one in my entire life. But I love the idea.
I've had a few.
It's like Nate Costa wet willies.
Q used to give me wet willies.
Almost spit out my water. Wasn't expecting that. She used to give me a ton of wet willies. Ah, it's amazing. Oh, Lordy. So we did get word that it looks like we are going to have an event at Gen Con this year. The Gen Con Online. And I've got to do some things to activate some accounts and do some promotional things, but it looks like it's for sure, Benjamin.
Okay, and I haven't told you yet, but I got an email from Comic-Con, so we got similar stuff to do. And I don't
Okay, great. Yeah, we
know
should
the
take
full
some
extent of that, but
Yeah, I've got a couple emails that we should probably go through together for just like setting up artwork and descriptions and all that. We also got to talk about what kind of events we want to do. We know we want to do some live streams and we want to talk graphic novels and fantasy and Land of Eam and whatever. But if anybody has any ideas as to what they'd love us to cover or do, be much appreciated. We can make it true. We can schedule it and be available. So we'll be online over the course of that weekend, doing some cool stuff, sharing some stuff, promoting some stuff.
yeah, I still don't know how Comic-Con exactly is going to work. Like we have a vague idea of Gen Con where we have our own Zoom, right? Zoom meeting.
Yeah, we set up a Zoom meeting and we're actually going to run a Land of Eam game. Ben and I are going to GM it.
But for Comic-Con, I'm not sure what the whole setup is.
Right. Are they? I mean, I imagine they're still totally going to have panels and stuff. Because those are super easy to do with Zoom. Yeah, I like the line shading there. It adds a lot without feeling like it's too suckery.
Great word.
It's like thinking a million computations of that right before you said it. Suckery. Classico,
Mayhem is the setup. Yeah, it's going to be mayhem, but less mayhem than if it was actually happening.
That's true. Traveling to events and setting up events is a lot of work. But I guess setup and takedown feels like nothing in comparison to like after your 14th hour standing on concrete, talking to people. It's It gets exhausting. Then finding a small restaurant that's farthest away from humans is what you find.
I actually look forward to Comic-Con for some reason. I know that it's become a huge beast.
Yeah.
It's like
I
a
really
yearly
liked
thing.
I liked the Emerald Con, the Emerald City Con in Seattle. I thought that one was pretty good. And Denver was a good show as well. Where were we at where that guy from Australia like noticed our shirts? And he was like, "Where'd you get those Rickety Stitch shirts?" And then it blew his mind when he found out that we were the creators.
That was,
Is that Arizona?
I think it was Denver.
It was at Denver. Yeah, he was like shocked that we were the people that made Rickety Stitch and like let out a string of expletives.
We were sitting there eating pho in a restaurant.
Oh yeah. We were like alone in there eating pho, and he just like walked by. Ashley says that they've got an event called Steel City Con where she's at. It's a small con, but it's super fun. Steel City Con.
Is that Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I would think so.
Stillers?
Yeah. Pennsylvania, definitely. Oh my gosh, I just clicked on Steel City Con. The first person I saw that's going to be there is Matt Lillard. Do you know who Matt Lillard has been? He's Wedge Antilles.
Wait, what?
He's Wedge Antilles.
Matthew Lillard? Isn't that? He's Shaggy.
What?
You're talking about Matthew Lillard?
Oh, they have the guy's name listed wrong. That's hilarious.
That guy was in Scream.
Oh my god, that's Matthew Lillard? What the heck? Dennis Lawson.
Yeah, that's Wedge.
Wedge Antilles. David Barkley, both Yoda and Jabba the Hutt. Puppet. Will Wheaton. Robert Carradine and Curtis Armstrong, Revenge of the Nerds. Richard Oldfield will be there. He's the guy in Empire Strikes Back that says 2 fighters against a Star Destroyer. Oh,
Derek Hobby Clivian, you mean?
See, those are the types of guys I love to meet. The ones that like stick with me are things like that. Like meeting Migosh was amazing from Willow. Like those are the ones that really excite me. That's cool.
Derek Hobby Clivian.
God.
I only know that because of the Star Wars card game.
The Decipher card game.
I mean,
It's a good game.
I probably would have known it at some point in my life. You know?
That was really before like endless wikis that like had this information.
Yeah.
Oh, William Shatner was there.
William Shatner.
It's been postponed to August, so if the world opens up again.
I don't know, man. It seems premature to me.
Yeah, they canceled pretty much all of our events. All of them. Tis a shame.
I was briefly trying to find the picture of us with Migosh, but it's going to take hours. So
Mm.
I'm going to abandon that and call this scum seer done.
Love it. Oh my God, Ashley, that's so nice. She says she'd bake us cookies if we went.
Awesome.
We would eat those cookies. We would eat the heck out of them.
All right, now I'm going to draw a troll.
A troll. A mighty
You know
troll.
I hate trolls.
Another classic mention of Willow. Happens at least 3 times a day.
It's a sickness.
It is. It's filled with a nice joy.
It's not funny. It's a sickness.
Your love for Willow is not a sickness.
But yours is.
Mhm.
That's what I'm trying to say.
It is. I love Willow. I heard tell that there was going to be potentially a Willow show on Disney Plus, and that kind of blows my mind. But if Warwick Davis is down, I'm so in. I am
Yeah.
there. We'll have a watch party.
That's, I mean, I don't know how Val Kilmer's doing, like health-wise.
He can't like speak anymore, really.
That
He had the
sucks.
same surgery that my uncle had, so it's like he can speak, but it's like difficult.
Well, I hope they don't go by those books. Those
Same.
sequel books.
Yeah, I couldn't get through them. You finished them though, right, or something?
I read the first one when I was a kid.
I read maybe about half of it, and then I was like, I'm not into this. I did not go all the way. I found the world unrecognizable, if that makes sense. Like the world that I had adopted and loved, even though it was small and there was very little world building in the movie, it just, the books felt so outside of it that I couldn't get into it.
Yeah,
Like Willow wasn't
I don't
Willow.
really remember. Yeah. Yeah, it opens with him being like, Thorn Drumheller. I was like, what?
It's like way to take all character recognition and throw that away. It's like, hi, I'm Batman, but I'm changing my name to Owl Guy. So forget all you know or think you know. All right, I'm Owl Guy.
Owlman.
No, George says Val Kilmer is actually doing much better. He read an interview with him, but he's still pretty hoarse.
Cool.
A troll's horns. Troll horns. Put a schnoz on that guy, you know what I mean? I like that. A little bit of a smirk.
Yeah, because trolls, you know, they're not all bad.
No.
Not by any means, you know. They're a little cantankerous.
Do they love living under bridges? Yes, that is true. It's part of their culture.
Do they love heckling people? Yeah, sure. Also cultural.
As she says, it reminds her of a squatch.
Squash.
Like a Sam Squanch.
Like the nose.
Like a Yeti.
Okay. I'll make them sitting.
The nose.
Because trolls is usually sitting. I gotta stop talking that way.
I don't think it's possible. Gonna confuse everyone. They're gonna think that we're from like Staten Island. We just do that voice all the time. I don't know. There's no reason. There is no reason. He's just missing a newspaper and a cup of coffee. Ashley says he just looks like he needs a mushroom growing off of him.
I like that.
So do I. Ben, I don't know why, but your feet are my favorite part of your art all the time. We talked about last week how like your boot game has like become epic. Like everyone is in like platform boots. They like all look like the Beatles, no matter what. And I gotta say, your foot game is just like I love it.
Well, thank you.
Hobnobbing triple toe troll guy.
Does he look like he's pooping?
I take that newspaper comment back. It didn't occur to me. Really takes the menace out of him if he is. It's just like,
hey, let me finish up here.
Hey, how you doing? I'm a troll over here. I got a lot of parlay options. You don't have to fight me.
It's true.
It's true. You don't have to fight me at all. I just want some coins, okay? This toll is my life.
I'm gonna draw some mushrooms growing off of him. There you go.
Yeah. Evan says the troll version of the thinker. I love it. A little bit of fungi.
Should trolls have tails?
That's a good question.
I think I have drawn them with like a little tail like this.
Mm-hmm.
What if some of them have tails like
lemurs?
Like something like this.
I kind of dig that. It's got a vibe of like where the wild things are that I like. Ashley says, pay the toll, a roll of toilet paper.
It's a valuable commodity these
It
days, you
is.
know?
Ashley likes the little nub as well. George says, got to throw like a half-read book on the ground over there.
The page is missing.
It's like, oh, yes, with pages mixed. No, he's a thinker. Evan said it. He's the troll thinker.
Well, he read the book and now he's done with it. Now he needs that paper, man, you know?
Yes. Question has been, are you going to be hardcore and write a funny title on that book?
Can I get some suggestions?
I can't remember the name of the play from Rickety Stitch Book 3. The Tale of Prospero?
Penultimo?
Penultimo.
Can't even remember it, dude. You got to read up again. You got to read that book again.
I know. Well, I mean, I know he's Ultimo, but I don't know what the name of the play is. Evan suggests Trollfellow. I love it. Glomes and ghoulies. George. Hot dogs and hand grenades. A how-to guide.
Wow.
Just reading a copy of Pong, Volume 3. Be another 12 years before it's not too soon.
Reading a copy of the novelization of The Burbs.
Well, starring Tom Hanks and whoever the heck else is in it. Carrie Fisher, she's in The Burbs.
Really?
Yeah, pretty sure Tom Hanks and Carrie Fisher are like the prime couple. Corey Feldman's in it too.
Hey, it's very watchable.
It is. Very watchable. Not just because we love these movies. You want to move to the burbs? Do you like penicillin on your pizza? Oh!
Weren't we gonna like have a watch party for that?
Yeah, we need to have a Ninja Turtles 1 watch party, the 80s Ninja Turtles. We need to schedule that.
Would anybody here join?
Hey, Lightmare Shadow. So if we did a watch party for the original 1980s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, who would be in? Who would want to watch that with Ben and I? And I assume George is an auto yes.
Oh, nice.
Ashley says, yeah. Ashley says, yes, she got to meet April O'Neil.
We're talking
How cool is that?
Judith Hogue or
Yeah.
the cartoon or
Ashley asks, does a troll poop in the woods? Well, actually, canon, they do. And when they do, it petrifies. And little boggles use that for homes. You can see that actually happen in Rickety Stitch Volume 1, The Road to Eppley.
it's a whole ecosystem.
It's a whole ecosystem. In fact, we even have lore about troll farts. If you go to ricketystitch.com.
And there was like turd burgling.
Yeah, there's
a lot of
for whatever reason, it always comes back
psychological
to
lore.
Yeah. So maybe he should have been on a toilet. Like, considering troll.
I mean, maybe he is.
Yeah, it's true. Just because it's not porcelain.
All right, so we got the troll. And we got the Scumseer.
Troll and the Scumseer. 2 more creatures that will appear in the Rickety Stitch RPG, The Land of Eam, to be released in August.
Need art for a Scrockwing and also an Inkpot Spider.
Got Inkpot Spider.
Or a giant one. I'm thinking, I don't know exactly how to do it, but like not making it fit entirely. Maybe just coming off the page.
Right. Lightmare Shadow, you guys are making a Rickety Stitch RPG? Yes, we are. It's called The Land of Eam, and it takes place in the Rickety Stitch world. We're about to release the beta rules that will contain a couple of dungeons, all the core rules, and even a pretty large regional sandbox that'll be a part of a sandbox that we're going to release later called the Mucklands, where Rickety Stitch starts out. And the game is really focused on making a lot of creative solutions as opposed to just fighting. It's tabletop. Actually, Ben, if you want to open up the pages just a little bit, can share some. Actually, he's working on adding the Scumseer, so you'll get to see it in 1 second. But yeah, the beta rules are going to be available for free not too far out from now, so that people can run games and let us know what they think.
Indeed.
Indeed. And there's a lot in the core rulebook releasing. It's got a lot of stuff. So it's got, like I said, it's got the dungeons, but also has over 100 random encounters. It's got an NPC generator. It's got 100 plus traps, riddles, puzzles, all tonally, connected to the Rickety Stitch series. So it's like a fly in my brain. It's in my brain. And yeah, here's actually a picture. Here's the map of the Mucklands, where the Rickety Stitch game begins. You can see the used to be forest there, where Rickety Stitch starts his journey, and that's the first sandbox region we'll release. But you can see that there's many others. There's the Fleabag County. There's Scalawag Strand, filled with pirates, and Drippy Downs, River Country, Quagmash Swamp area. There's a lot, and we've legitimately got hundreds and hundreds of encounters and NPCs and quests and things you can do for folks that love like having sandboxes at their fingertips so that they can run a quick game or find themselves going on an adventure. But it also is going to have some main quest stuff that are in there.
Yeah, it's a lot of material for GMs to run games off the cuff because there's a lot of random encounters and there's just tons of material like NPCs and quests that have quest seeds and
tons of tools, tons of characters and seeds and hooks and discoveries. And we tried to jam pack it with a lot of useful stuff. George asks, "Are you guys going to eventually sell prints of the map?" Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely sell prints of the map. Thanks, Evan. It's come a long way. The map is looking great. Lightmare Shadow. Is it possible to play as a slime in it, or is it gelatinous goo only? Nice goo. Actually, yes, you can be a gelatinous goo. We've got some character art. Gelatinous goo is actually one of the first starter characters that you can play as the Dungeoneer class. Ben will bring it up so you can see some character art.
Sorry.
No worries. Ben is actually applying some art right now. But there's lots of species that you can be, and there's 6 classes. There's the Bard, of course. There's the Knight Errant, the Dungeoneer, the Gnome, which is a class all to itself, kind of like the old elf and dwarf. The Gnome is a class. The Rascal, which is kind of like a Robin Hood thiefy type character, and the Loyal Chum, which is the class that's based on the gelatinous goo in the Rickety Stitch graphic novel series.
All right, I will show all that stuff now.
Yeah, no worries, start.
So
and
yeah,
what you guys are looking
Bard.
at is actually the beta rule book. So you'll see there's like sketches and there's final art for the character classes. So you got your Bard.
The Bard, and then here's an example of a goo who's Dungeoneer, and those are adventure seekers. They explore the underlands and dungeons. They're freelancers who sometimes work for larger companies that do this sort of thing. But above all, yeah, they're like treasure seek. They're like Indiana Jones, basically.
Yeah, they like have a deep love for lore and discoveries and exploration and relics, and so it's super fun to play.
Oh boy. Yeah. There you go. I don't know. What should I show here? I wasn't listening.
Oh, so like here's the gnome character. We're just running through it again for those that didn't get to see it at the beginning, just real fast. Get your Knight Errant class, based on the Knight Errant from Rickety Stitch. This is a bog roll.
Indeed, they are the warrior, best at combat, and you have the Loyal Chum, who is the best travel companion in the group. Gives buffs to other players, lets them re-roll stuff.
Another fun class to play. Maybe my favorite class.
George is playing one right now.
Yeah.
They're also good at crafting. And there's the Rascal.
Love the Rascal.
Rascal is a rogue, a thief, a goon. And InDesign is crazy because I've done it wrong, I'm sure. So when I switch things around, like when I move pages, things just get so crazy, and you move one thing and another thing moves like 40 pages down the line. I have no idea what's going on. So it's good stuff, and
classic technology.
I recommend it.
Classic technology.
Yeah.
There you have it.
So what's
yeah?
See, let's move down.
I don't know.
I'm doing
InDesign's really finicky. Every time I work with it, it's like a little wheeled.
So what do we have left to do for this?
I don't know. We've
open
actually
beta?
run out of time. Oh, for the open beta, we've got to go through the creatures and clean those up. We are 99% done with the used to be forest region, and we need to put the first adventure into the book format on InDesign. Got to do that for the Mucklins too, but we're close. I'd say the biggest new content thing that we have to work on is the monsters.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of tables that need to go in here too.
Lightmare Shadow. They missed some things. I wanted to know which playable races there were.
Yeah, we've got a whole
list here.
A picture. So here are all the species. You've got a boggart, which is a cousin of a goblin. They look more like Muppets, though. You have a boggle, who's a tiny little goblin creature. Bogrels, which are frog-like rotund creatures. You've got gelatinous goose, of course. You can be a gnome, and gnomes are also a class. So if you are a gnome, you're automatically the gnome class, and obviously nothing else can be a gnome. Can't be a skeleton gnome. You have your goblin, your human, an imp like Ziggy in book 1 of Rickety Stitch. You've got skeleton. And skeletons are pretty rare because, in order to play a skeleton, you basically have to be like Rickety Stitch, a skeleton with a soul and a mind. But we felt like, of course, people are going to want to do that, so we have to include it. And you have a shrim, which are little shrew-like rodent creatures, and a wug, which are big hulking goblinoids. And I think as we expand the game, we can add more, because I already know probably going to want to include bugbears and welkins, which are the bird creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Is Rickety not the only one? So sort of like I kind of liken it to playing like a Star Wars RPG. Isn't Luke the last Jedi? Like, how can you possibly be another Jedi when you're playing an RPG? But like, everyone wants to be one.
Mm-hmm.
So we're allowing it. You're probably not going to be as important as Rickety Stitch.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, they've got their own adventures going. There's tons of danger
to the fate of the world. No one's ever going to be as important as Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, we got to release the high-level campaigns for that.
Yeah.
In 2070, when we release the high-level campaigns.
Evan asks, are the shrimp similar to Glosum shrews from Redwall? Got to look that up.
I would say yes. Yeah.
I don't know. I think in appearance.
I'd say in appearance, yes.
Our shrimps are technologically advanced, and they're kind of the creators of all this industrial clockwork technology that's been introduced into the world and that the goblins have taken.
Yeah, taken and adopted for their tycoonery.
Yeah.
That's my favorite word.
So they're great with mechanics and whatnot. Lightmare asks, what if a DM uses a system in a story that takes place in a completely different land? Who knows what kind of adventures may happen there? That's totally cool with us.
Yeah, that's super cool. We love it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I guess I was just saying, like, we got to start from someplace. Like, come at it from our own angle. People can do whatever they want. We would love that.
Evan says, that's rad. Are they shrewd with their technology? See what he did there? Huh?
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yes.
The answer is probably no. I think they've been taken advantage of by the goblins.
Right. Right.
So yeah, Lightmare, you could make a whole party of skeletons and have it be awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's the short answer.
Cool.
I tell you, yeah.
We've actually run over on our time again today. It's the second time in a row because you guys are so fun to hang out with.
Yeah, James might turn into a pumpkin.
Literally.
And yeah.
A pumpkin, actually. Speaking
pumpkin.
of character and creature templates, there is a creature called a pumpkin with a pumpkin head. We should probably knock that out too, Ben.
It's probably the most underdeveloped idea.
Yeah. We probably have well over 100 creatures planned for the book, but the beta it's got at least 20, so there's plenty to work with.
And I was thinking about the Grimly Wood, which is going to be another setting.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this thought today in the shower that
shower thoughts, quite literally.
We could introduce, more like, because it's a haunted forest, like yokai type creatures, like Japanese ghosts, like that. Just draw inspiration from that. Just other, weird stuff.
Yep.
Floating heads.
Yeah, if Grimly Wood is a spooky spot, that's that'll be a really fun one. Ashley says time isn't real.
It's true.
It's true. It's a construct.
All right. I guess that's it for us.
Yes, indeed. We should probably jet. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back next weekend at 11 a.m. Pacific to stream, hang out with you guys, make some more art, create some more creatures, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for coming. And stay safe out there.
Indeed. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Fare thee well.